Okay, so look, welcome guys. Welcome to the Ring Brothers. You're couple of guys that who I reckon are some of the best car builders in the world. So I really appreciate your time, and I'm looking forward to finding out a bit more about you guys. Yeah, so
Great.
exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting. Across the world here, and we can look at each other. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. So firstly, you better let the viewers know which one's Mike and which one's Jim.
I'm Jim, the guy with the goatee.
And I got the no hat today. I'm Mike.
And I want to know that whenever I see you guys at SEMA and other events, that I never see you guys, but there's another brother, and he's the one that's always working. What's the story there?
Oh God.
He's retired, so he's got a lot of energy.
He likes to tag him.
He's the oldest of 7 in our family. So
wow.
And I'm the youngest.
And Jim's the youngest. There's 4 girls sandwiched in there, and then me, and then Jim. So yeah, he likes to take credit for raising us, I guess. I don't know.
Well, he done a good job anyway, so he can take that credit. So that's good. Mate, you guys have a lot of followers down here in Australia through your cars and your parts business. Is there anything you want to pass on to those guys down here?
No, we're just hoping,
we're just lucky enough to be able to do what we want to do and have people enjoy it.
And come to work yet and still produce the parts. We haven't had to shut down here as
for
far
the whole COVID thing.
Because we're automotive, we can keep going, and we have been hard at it. It's exciting that I think people are doing projects, and things have been good.
Yeah. So obviously being out in Spring Green in Wisconsin is obviously a bonus with the whole COVID thing, but is that where you guys grew up and out there?
We actually grew up, we went to high school in Spring Green. We grew up in a small town of Plain, which is about 7 miles to the north of us.
It can't be much smaller than Spring Green.
Spring Green 1,600, Plain is 688.
So
fantastic.
Yeah, so our family of 7 was a big percentage of the town.
Yeah. So how did you guys get into cars? Through your folks out there, or how did you get into cars?
Just, we were into anything that had gas in it over our lifetimes. My dad owned a gas station when we were growing up, and we just thought all that stuff was cool, and just started tinkering around. Finally, Mike got old enough to get a driver's license at age 16, and he knew that he had to have a car to get some women. So
yeah, to get out of Plain.
To get out of Plain, because there was no women in Plain. If they were, they were your cousin.
Hey, that's really funny. That's a recurring theme for just about every single person I've interviewed over the last few weeks.
Yeah, so really the car was the thing, and I don't know why, I don't know why the smell of gas or oil or movement or making something come to life, like, everything we first had didn't run. So, it's like building Frankenstein and having it come to life in a way. It's really it's a cool feeling to make something come alive, and that's what an engine does to a young person. Or it's just a weird feeling to make something move.
We definitely could never afford anything that actually moved.
So you had to make it move.
So to make it move is cool.
Yeah.
I'm sure you had other cars, but to us down here, or the majority of people, the 67 fastback Mustang Reactor sort of really seemed to put you guys on the world stage. I'm guessing you had other cars before. Is that right? Before that?
We did, but not a lot, believe it or not. We kind of didn't know anything about the game, and we had built one car, I think, Kona, that really kind of people noticed a little bit. And the guy that allowed us to build the Reactor saw that car and said, "I want you guys to build me a car." It was a pretty exciting day for us, and we threw everything we had at it, as far as at the time with the machining that we did on it. And I don't know, we really put our heart and soul into that car. We still do today, but that one was pretty special. That, you're right, it did.
Well, just somebody took a chance on us, and we didn't want to disappoint.
Yeah, yeah. That's a great story. So that guy, he was a US guy, wasn't he? He's from the US.
He was.
He was from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. He since had passed from cancer.
Just not recently, within a year or so.
It's been a couple of years already, but hated to see that. His name was Doug Hoppy. He was just a nice man, and we got to hand it to him for giving us a shot. And to be able to, we begged to go to SEMA. We never got in. But I think the first time we were there, we took a Mustang out there, and we ended up between the Hilton Convention Center and the actual SEMA Hall, right next to the dumpster. And
yeah, the only people that saw us was the smokers when they flicked the cigarettes onto the hood of the car.
And then I think Mustang Monthly or one of the magazines did a story, which was a couple months after SEMA, and they talked about our car in the alley being one of the more exciting cars at SEMA that nobody got to see. So that was kind of cool for us.
Yeah. So I think the following year was that Reactor.
What year was that? You remember?
It had to be which one, the Reactor or the first car?
the Reactor. Yeah, the Reactor.
I think that was 07.
Yeah. Okay.
So about 12, 13 years ago already. But
so you guys you're an overnight success.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, when you look at like Troy or Bobby and those guys, it started long before we did.
Yeah.
And we're pretty lucky, actually. It is a short period of time.
Yeah.
No, you're not lucky. You're fortunate. You're fortunate that you've come across good people, I guess, and then and of course the amount of work that goes into building these cars. Not many people are really prepared to put that amount of work in. Yeah. It took me a long time to realize. I thought it was about cars, but it's actually about so many great people in this industry, isn't it?
Yeah.
Awesome.
We've had the opportunity, a couple small town guys talk about growing up in a town of 600 people, having the, just meeting all of the great people we got to meet throughout the entire world was just never even on our radar. And we met all these people like, the Jay Lenos and all of these guys over a stupid car. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I actually want to touch on just a few of you. I mean, you got so many builds. There's a couple I want to go through. But a couple in particular, you built some cars for overseas clients as well, and but also the Javelin for Prestone and Wes Rydell's Madam V. I mean, just amazing cars, eh?
Yeah,
again, it was great to have people with the means to take a chance on us and give us the opportunity to do what was inside of us. So it was just nice that, thank God for people that have that kind of means to be able to do that, right?
Yeah. I mean, I was in your shop that day, and you were just working on Madam V, and you just tell us a little bit about that car. You he bought a brand new car for that, didn't he, to build that car?
Yeah, honestly, the ATS-V is what we put under it, but that car wasn't even out yet. But Wes knew it was coming. But they had the ATSs, but the V wasn't out yet, so we bought a pretty new. It had a few miles on it, ATS, so we could. We knew the shell would be the same. So we used actually that part of the car, gutted it, and used, the monocoque car on that and got it laid out. So started with that car. And then the ATS-V showed up, and then we moved all that stuff over. So we ruined 2 new cars. And 2 actually 48s. So it took 4 cars to build that car.
Yeah. And that's the sort of stuff that people don't know, but that's what it takes to build some of that stuff, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. And a lot of that car was pretty difficult, even though it really looked okay at the end. But it was pretty difficult because to take a car and shell it out, that's one thing. But to make sure the dash, that you don't look goofy inside the car, right? Because you got to proportionally put the steering wheel in the right spot, the door, because it's easy to move. Because we had to move the wheelbase 18 inches. Well, where do you move that 18 inches to? Do you move it in the middle of the car? Do you move the front tires forward, the rear? Because it's all proportionate to where you sit in the car. Correct. So that was a little challenging, but we did end up moving the front wheels ahead and left the rear wheels the same.
You think about 18 inches, that's a That's a lot.
That's a lot. Yeah. Yeah.
And how we did that, we were able to do that. We left the original cradle in the ATSV, which had the engine and transmission laid out through that original cradle. And then we grafted another cradle in front of that cradle to hang the suspension and everything off of that. So that way we did not have to disconnect the transmission, the engine, the fuel lines. All of that stuff stayed factory Cadillac without stretching all of that out.
And then
it actually worked out pretty cleverly is how it worked out.
It happened to just work out in the way the dash and the way the rear sill plate went back in.
The seat was in the proper location. You know, you weren't in the back window. You were right where you needed to be.
So it really was fun to be able to do something like that. You know, one of the fun things on that car was everything works in that car. OnStar, airbags. The only thing that didn't work was this curtain airbags.
Yeah.
But with Wes and the ability of the people he's got also. So we had to fool the computer. So we took the airbags out of it and actually put an ohm meter on them and blew them up in our dumpster out there to get an ohm reading off them so that we could fix the computer. So there was a lot of cool stuff to make that.
Another funny story about that car is right when we got it done, we didn't put a third brake light in it. We just kind of bypassed it just because it was a 48 Cadillac and didn't want a third brake light in. And I backed it outside, and about 5 minutes later, Wes called me from Arizona and said, "Hey, I got a brake light out in my Cadillac." I said, "How would you know that?" He said, "OnStar called me."
How cool is that in my 48 Cadillac? I love it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they didn't know it was a 48 Cadillac.
That's funny.
So, yeah, it's the people you meet and the talent that's out there in this industry. You know, it's amazing.
Yeah. And speaking of that, I want to. I obviously was so blown away at SEMA last year with the Camaro. So, firstly, what's the name? What's the name of that car? How do you say that?
Valkyrie.
We call it Valkyrie, but that's really not how it is spelled. It's a Belgium spelling of Valkyrie.
Yeah.
We wanted to make sure we didn't call it Valkyrie or spell it the same way that Aston Martin, you know, they have a new car coming out with Valkyrie. So we didn't want that.
That car in particular, man, it just blew my mind. And winning Battle of the Builders must have been incredible. But just give us a bit of a rundown on that car. It was mind blowing. Come on.
It was the biggest undertaking that we've ever done. So we started with the '69 Camaro, and we had it scanned. So we scanned a complete car. We actually bought we think was an old Z28, but it was an early car, so there was no way to prove it was a true Z28 because the motor was missing in it. So people say, "Oh, you ruined a Z28." Well, there's no way to prove it on an early car. We just think it was.
Yep.
But so we took that car and actually just base coated the whole car, like right over the whole thing white. Because to scan a car, they usually put powder or something on it, and they put all the bullseyes on it. But we actually just painted the whole car over, the bumpers, lights, glass, and got a real good scan off it. And then with Gary Regal and the team that he has, we started putting our ideas together and blew the car up in math, like 5 inches wider in the rear, 3 inches wider in the front, moving the front wheels ahead 1.5 inches from stock. So by the time it was done, it looked like a 69, but honestly, the only thing that would fit from a 69 on that car or vice versa would be the side glass. That's
Unreal.
That's it.
So when you scanned it, so why did you scan it?
We scanned it to model it, to get the math and then model it all on a computer. And then after that was done, we took that information and actually machined giant pieces of foam to create the molds. And then all of that was hand laid in carbon fiber to make the panels to pull out of them molds. It was quite the undertaking.
Like the roof, the first roof price, we put a number together to build this car because we really wanted to do something like this. And we did partially on the Javelin, the front end of that car.
The front clip.
So we thought, let's do a whole car that way. Well, the roof alone, just the milling cost, not to get a part or anything, was $85,000.
Wow.
And we're like, oh shit, we can't build this car. We can't. There's not enough money, you know. And so but with all the shopping we did, believe it or not, we took that first cost of 85 to 24,000. That's how much markup between people there was in that.
That was just the machining.
That was just the machine. So
that's not the part.
So compound that out by, I don't recall how many actual parts. Like everything was machined, the bumpers, the taillights, the, you know.
Complete roof from A pillars to, you know, to B pillar. I mean, everything was
every
machined.
part of the car, like all the interior pieces to the gauges to, you know.
So what you're saying on that car, there's no metal in that shell. That's a full carbon shell, is it?
No, the skin is all carbon. The inner structure was modified to be able to put the carbon panels onto.
Okay.
But yeah, as far as the exterior of the car, everything was carbon. And then if you looked underneath the hood and the trunk, we didn't want to just have it sheet metal. If you recall, it was all airframe, pocketed out aluminum. So it really was kind of a structure that we took into the inside of the car too. So it was a pretty thought out, but honestly, we didn't start machining parts till January. We didn't get parts. Yeah, we didn't get parts till almost May. So we built that car from May to
SEMA.
November.
That's mad. Yeah.
So it was a mad crunch.
Before we get onto that, I just with the Camaro. So that car went to Belgium, didn't it? Straight after SEMA.
It did. Yeah.
It did. Yeah. It's in Belgium right now. So Jim gave him a ride. He came out here to sign off on the car in November, right after SEMA, because there was no time before that. And we were lucky enough to get it done before the snow came. And Jim took him for a ride. And this guy's father has a Bugatti Veyron, which are pretty fast. So Jim gave him a ride, and I'll let Jim tell you.
I scared the shit out of him. And I said, "Do you think this would keep up with your dad's Veyron?" He says, "I think it'd blow it away." And so he was pretty excited at that point. And then I let him in the driver's seat, and I think he was pretty nervous.
Yeah. So did he? Where did he actually contracted you to build that car? Like originally? Yeah, originally. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah. So
how did it feel at SEMA when you actually won the Battle of the Bills? I bet that felt pretty good as well.
It was fun, you know. Like I always said, we were always the bridesmaid and never the bride. There, you know, we've been in that quite a few different times, and it was kind of nice, refreshing to win for once.
There was so many 69 Camaros. Honestly, I didn't think we had a chance. I thought probably Pinky's 40 would have won it, or you know, something like that. Which the budget on that car was much greater than what we had.
Three times
probably the budget. But
but the innovation, I absolutely, not that I knew, but I had no doubt you guys had it in the bag, because just the innovation, it was just crazy.
Yeah, it was fun. It really was fun, and we've sure been lucky to do some fun stuff over the years. And you know, Jim and I are getting up there. I'm 58, Jim's 55. When they take like 3 years to do these cars, or 2, how many do we really have left?
How many we got left?
So,
So when you when a car like that, especially goes to Belgium, like leaving your country, does it feel like you're selling one of your kids?
No, honestly,
we're ready for them to go.
You know, it's like you could probably talk to every builder. They for us, it's always SEMA. It's a mad crunch. We get them done. You hate them by the time you leave.
You don't even know what you build.
We don't even know if it's cool or not anymore. You're like frustrated because you're so spent mentally, physically. Believe it or not, even the few days while the car's on the trailer out there and to have a break, it's kind of cool again, even in that short a time, to see the car and think, well, maybe it's better than I thought it was.
Yeah, when you get out there, you know, and you get to see it after you're away from it, even a few days, it helps. It's like, God, we made that.
And then you just hope other people you know, sometimes you convince yourself when you're building cars that something looks cool. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like, oh, builders think, oh, that's cool. And really, sometimes it's not, but you talk yourself into it because you spent so much time doing something.
100%. I totally get that. Yeah.
Just because you do it doesn't mean it's right.
Yeah.
Right. Or just because you build something. So it's tough. So you're afraid that maybe you talked yourself into something that's really not as cool as you might think it was.
So just on that, you've won plenty of awards, and now you have. I mean, you're talking about the early days, but you've won plenty of things. Is there anything that really stands out, or is there anything that you really went for and you're so pleased you've won?
I think honestly, for us, for me, I shouldn't say for us. For me, it's the design awards from Ford and GM that we've won over the years. That, you know, it's pretty special that you have automotive designers that look at your work and appreciate that. I personally think those type of awards are pretty big to me.
Almost better to win than the whole SEMA thing itself.
Yeah, and I actually understand that when you say that, because that's coming from, like, not even your peers. They come from the designers of cars, aren't they? Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So for them to take notice and smile and
say,
be wowed, you know, in a way, like that Camaro, those GM guys were really like, oh my God.
I think they were wowed. You know, and we were bummed out because usually they let you know on a Tuesday night whether or not you won, and it went on, and we didn't hear anything back. And when she called, the gal from GM called me, I think it was on a Wednesday morning, and I was like, oh my God, I was floored. And I said, I just thought, you know, I just had no idea that we didn't get anything from you guys. That we were so disappointed. And she literally started crying. She said, we were up all night photographing that car. There ain't a, you know, this is the best car at GM car at SEMA this year, and you know, we're so excited for you guys. And but she was really nice, but we were so bummed out when we didn't hear.
Yeah, because we really thought that car, if we might not win anything, but we thought maybe GM would respect the work that was put into that.
Yeah.
And when we hadn't heard anything at first, but they did, and they still write about it today, which
is pretty cool.
Yeah. Obviously, to me, that's probably the pinnacle now, but I'm sure you guys have got a few more things left in you, so looking forward to that. So,
yeah, we're excited.
Do you have a favourite all-time street machine? And it doesn't have to be one of yours. Is there something that you guys have sort of over the years have looked at and really love?
You know, I still think we haven't built that one yet. We're building a Mustang, believe it or not, a '69 that I'm pretty excited about. It's crazy that we could feel that way, but for me, I think it's pretty cool car.
It's still coming. Yeah.
And I think that's how it always is. The truck's going to be. It's going to be insane.
It's going to be really over the top. Wild.
People are going to hate it.
They're going to either hate it or love it. One of the two.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is it? What sort of truck?
It's like a
1948 to 53 Chevrolet cab, just using just a portion of the cab, and the rest is all carbon. And it's pretty wild.
It's open wheel. It's road race. But I don't know. It's just a different level of crazy.
Yeah. Okay. So when is that? SEMA this year, or if
it'll be a couple years.
It'll be years. We're still in the big design part of this thing, so
okay. So obviously, you build a lot of cars for show and go, but it really seems to me that you absolutely love the whole performance thing, the Optima Challenge and the different things like that, and putting the cars through the paces. Is that correct?
There's no doubt we try to build cars that work and run and drive. I mean, that's what they're about. You know, for us, everybody asks why we don't try to go build a Riddler car to compete in that event, and that's just way too far off of our screen. I mean, if you can't get in it and drive the crap out of it, then why build it? I mean,
like Kyle did that black Camaro, and then he took it for the street, and they had to change out all the bolts because they were chromed and all the rotors and all the brakes, and It's like,
Yeah.
I just can't I just can't wrap my head around that type. I mean, there's people that do it, people that love it, eat that up. It's just not who Jim and I are. It's not.
Yeah.
I'd rather, if somebody's going to give me more money, I would rather put it in the performance or on what you can see from looking at a car normally, and not have to flip it upside down.
Or design concepts, or just
Yeah.
pushing the envelope, or anything.
If somebody's going to give me that's just the way we are. I mean, to those people, I honestly don't think we could ever win a Riddler, because we don't build that type of car.
Yeah.
So I don't have the passion for that.
Yeah, I totally get that. Look, I think you definitely have the engineering and the skill to do it, but it's just the direction you guys don't want to go, I'm guessing. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And it's almost, to me, like when we used to do restorations. Restorations are judged by what's wrong with it.
Yeah,
exactly. And the
Yeah.
Riddler is judged by what's wrong with it.
Yeah.
How many stitches are in that seat?
Yeah.
And the restorations where, well, it's the wrong date code of
Yeah.
the light bulb in the glove box.
Wrong thread on the bolt. And exactly.
Right. Yeah. So with what we've done is, with no rules, it's more like either you like it or you don't, but you don't judge them so much by perfection.
We went to Catholic school our whole life, and the nuns carried rulers, so we were so sick of rules. Now building cars with no rules is fun.
I like it.
It's more fun just to have people say, I don't like it. But, I think too much is judged by perfection instead of, would you drive it? Would you be seen in it? Would you want to own it? You know what I mean? That's how I think cars should be judged.
Would you want it in your own garage?
Would you want that car? Would you be seen driving that car?
That's really interesting. I've been judging for many years at our big event down here and doing different things. And people have come up to me after that event and say, what's your favourite car? And they would expect me to say the top judge car. Never is. It's always something that I'd like to have home in my shed, and it'll be something that I could drive. It looks cool, right stance. Yeah, it's really funny. So,
So I'm like that, And I think the same thing with us when we judge cars. It's like that freak or that maybe a rat rod, and people are like, God, it doesn't look like anything you'd build. It's like, no, it's like, it's
that's
just
what we'd like to have.
It's like whoever thought of that is,
if they give you the opportunity to ask for your opinion, why not give it to them truthfully, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
If you walk through the show and it's something that it's something that flips your skirt up, you might as well pick it.
Yeah. Hey, you guys also, like, obviously building cars, well known for that, but you've got a really great reputation for building billet and carbon parts. That's still a big part of your business?
It really is.
Tremendous.
It should be bigger. It's just, we're pretty stretched thin now. If it was all about the almighty dollar, I think we'd spend more effort into that end of it. We really should. But we're so passionate about the cars. It's as far as plain raw business, thank God we got the women here to really run that part. Honestly, and that's true. That they really are good about organizing and keeping things going. When
but our
Jim
parts,
and I, because our parts could, as good as
it does well.
We could really
it does.
do well.
Our biggest downfall with our parts is having enough time to continue to do product development. And
of course.
We just feel like we're not big enough, and we're bigger than we want to be.
Stuck in the middle. So on that point, how many guys have you got sort of working throughout the whole business?
I think there's 17.
Yeah, wow.
And some part-time.
And some part-time.
Yeah, I mean, truthfully, it'd probably be close to 20 full-time people if we put all of the things together. So it's a great team. We're lucky, in this today's world. Well, up to a couple months ago, you couldn't find labor, but we were lucky enough to have people work here that honestly work for less money than they could demand out in the world, but just are so passionate at what they do that they're not jumping for the 50 cents or the $1 or $2 that they could make somewhere else. So we feel really blessed with the people we have.
And are they mainly people locally, or do you get people that have come in from all over the US to work for you guys?
No, pretty much local.
Just local.
Yeah.
We've had that, but it's honestly, it's like, I know like Jim and I married a girl from California. Jim was in Colorado. You typically want to go home, and
Yeah.
I'd rather invest our time and effort with a local person.
Not to saying that we wouldn't. It's just hard to get people
Then
to
to
come to
stay.
us.
Yeah. And stay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, who
And
the
if you
hell
spend
wants
all
to
that
come to a
time,
town of-
yeah, you spend all that time training them, and then after 2 or 3 years they go, you've got to start all over again. So yeah, I get that. Yeah.
just want to go home.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't blame them, and I don't blame
No.
people. So it's like it's tough, and businesses are tough everywhere. So I don't want to sit like I'm whining. It's just the truth.
No. It's all just interesting. And I usually catch up with you for briefly at SEMA, and I'm always interested that you guys are so humble. But how do you handle all the SEMA schedule, and yet everybody wants a bit of you? How does that sit with you guys?
Yeah, we see less and less of you every year. It's
we
like,
get drug around by our ears, so it's we don't get to
Exactly.
talk
we don't
much.
get to spend as much time with you as we used to. I know. It's a good thing and a bad thing. So
Yeah. What do you mean? A good thing because you don't spend time with me? Is that what you meant?
no, it's a bad thing that we can't spend more time with the people we like to hang out and just talk about whatever, not just cars. So.
My brother Steve this past year at SEMA, who you probably talked to,
Yes.
he was even mad at us. He's like, I come all the way up here from Arizona and you guys can't even say hi.
Yeah, it was bad. He was really upset because we had no time. It was crazy.
Last year was bad, but you had the Camaro. So what do you expect?
It was the worst year as far as seeing people for us.
Yeah,
sure.
But it's good. It's important for your business and interesting. I'm sure you guys look. You do that stuff you've done some stuff with Hoonigan, and now we're doing this. You're doing more of this stuff than ever, I guess, just to keep in touch with everybody.
Yeah,
we are.
Yeah, it's. I think that's kind of what people are doing and are asking us to do, and we feel lucky that we get a platform like this one and Hoonigan to want to talk to us, to let people know who we are. We're pretty lucky.
Yeah.
That you done a deal with Hoonigan yesterday. What they're pretty crazy, those guys, aren't they?
Yeah, they're just people just like you. It's good. They it wasn't anything crazy or anything. They kind of put up when they flogged the breaststone Javelin a little bit, but it was just normal conversation, kind of what we're doing here, and then kind of what we're going to do with you is show you around the shop a little bit.
Yeah.
And
all right.
So
just before that, I'm aware that I'm hoping you can talk about it. You're building a car for a guy down here. Actually, he's a New Zealander, but all the good ones, all the good New Zealanders, we claim as Australians. So you're building a car. You're building a car for Greg Murphy, right?
Yes, we are. And right now we've kind of put it on hold again because the dollar is so strong compared to what it's been. I don't know if it's the same right now with the dollar. The U.S. dollar is pretty strong. So he's just like, God, I just really like to see if it can and turn around a little bit. So we really haven't done a whole heck of a lot lately on Greg's, more than what he knows. But we can show you I don't want to show you the car because I don't want to show up too much because he really wants to show the car over there. We were planning on taking it to SEMA this year, but that will not be the case. Honestly, I don't think SEMA's going to happen. Everybody says it is. My wife thinks it is, but
right.
It's hard to believe that they would bring hundreds of thousands of people together from all over the world to be that tight environment. I just can't believe that's going to happen.
I honestly would go. I mean, I'm not as nervous about this as maybe I should be.
Yeah,
I would go.
It's interesting what you said there, Jim. I sort of agree. I thought even if they only had half the amount of people, it would still be packed, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Half the amount of people would still be packed. And can you imagine if there was 2 people in there with the virus, how it would just explode?
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see, I guess. But
we can only hope. We can only hope.
And see. So, what do you guys do? Obviously, cars are such a big part of your life. What do you do away from cars? I know one of you guys likes hunting. Is that correct?
I like to hunt. I like to play around at our farm. Mike likes to go hit white balls around a grassy field.
Yeah, I really like golf. Honestly, I don't have much for hobbies. My wife tells me I need to get a few. Jim really likes the outdoors and building things with his hands. Everybody asked him what would be his favorite car if he could, because we don't really own a car. We don't own an old car. Everybody says, what would you build? And Jim says, I'd buy an excavator is what he would do.
I mean, everybody goes through their midlife crisis and wants a Porsche or they want a Ferrari. I just want a brand new. I want a new excavator.
I love it. I bet it'll be modified.
Yeah.
Maybe I could put a car on the end of it and swing Mike around on it.
Yeah. So do you get much time away from the shop?
Mike doesn't. I try to live a life, but his life is in here.
I just like it. I mean, not to be saying anything more than I just like being here.
Yeah, I get that.
I mean, and on weekends when I'm kind of alone, it's kind of nice too. Phone's not ringing, you're not being pulled, you can do some work and actually feel like you're getting something done.
You guys are both still very hands-on, aren't you? Very hands-on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't have a desk, and Jim's desk is not really a desk.
It's a bench.
I don't have a computer. I still don't have email. I still got a flip phone because that's what I want to do. I just want to work. I can't imagine when I have to just direct. It'll kill me. It really will kill me.
Okay. So what's that?
All right. So this was a 69 Dodge Charger that we had at SEMA a few years back. This car went to London, England, and he sent it back to us because he didn't think it had enough power. So we got it all tore down again, pulled apart.
This is a year ago already.
It's been a year since this motor's been out of it. We were waiting for that new Elephant motor from Chrysler to come out.
Yeah,
we finally have it. We don't have a controls pack for it to run it yet, but that's what this card's in here for, to get done and then shipped back to London.
Bowlers right now getting the tranny special transmission built for it that can handle the power.
Yeah, wow.
And he should be done with that this week, so we can start to put it together. After a year, it's been here because they were supposed to release that motor on 4/26 of last year.
Yeah, right.
We just got the motor about a month ago. And
so
the day
why would that guy? What's he going to do with that car? Just because he can have that engine? Is that why?
Yeah, he wanted that, and he can. And he's a super nice guy, by the way.
Yeah, great guy.
And so we're excited. The car was, from the cars we've done, it was on the slower side. I mean, everything we've been doing is 800 to 1,000 horsepower. So it is, it didn't feel as strong as some of the cars we've done. So it should feel strong now.
Unreal. That's nice.
Yeah, it's a nice car. This is a 72 K5 Blazer that we did for a guy in Omaha, Nebraska. This is one of the trucks that went over to Saudi Arabia.
And it got all smashed.
And it got all smashed up. This was in a container, and they didn't tie him down.
Wow.
And it was damaged pretty severe front and rear.
Actually running into the splitter Mustang we did.
Yeah.
And that car's really damaged. We'll show you that.
Yeah, we'll show you that.
Okay. Yeah.
So this is just the front. This is our alignment rack. It's where we do our alignments and stuff.
This is the first building we started in for just oil changes and tires, and so
we'll take you into. This is our body shop area.
Tell him, don't show Greg's car.
Yeah. So this is our spray booth. This is our mixing room.
Yep.
This is our fabrication shop. This is a 64.5 convertible that's supposed to be done for SEMA. This car has been widened.
Yeah.
Can you turn that radio down? It's been widened an inch. Couple. You can see some of the fabrication in here, putting the fuel cell in. We haven't built the floors or anything yet.
You can see along here where we added the inch.
We added the inch through the tops of the quarters here.
Yeah, okay.
So the quarters got cut off and added an inch, and you can see the doors are an inch wider. Just the overall car is 2 inches wider, 1 inch per side.
Yeah.
So this, believe it or not, this is supposed to be at SEMA this year.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. It's got all independent suspension. That's the rear.
Nice. Is that an overseas car or going overseas?
This is actually staying in the States.
Yeah, good.
This will have a new Coyote in it.
Yeah. Nice.
This is our K5 Blazer that's going to be at SEMA. You can see all of these pieces are machined, the grill surrounds. There's, again, none of this is factory. This is all handmade.
You do all that in-house?
Yep.
Yeah, fantastic.
Now, so John's
this is some of the truck. You can see the air intakes that actually will close through the hood, so it stays.
Yeah, wow.
This motor's capable of 1,400 horse. We've got it turned down to about 1,200.
So you've got a few trucks in the build. It's which is when you come over the States, there's just so many trucks around. So yeah, very popular at the moment.
Yeah. These aren't the wheels; they're just mock-up.
Yep.
You can kind of see some of the interior. This is crazy inside.
See how all the pods were made, so there's no dash anymore. There's just separate pods on each one. Obviously, that one ain't in yet. And then the dash will float above everything in here.
Yeah, right.
You can see the floors are all machined. The floors and everything.
Mm.
The seats are all on shock absorbers.
Crazy.
The rear seat will actually float off of them aluminum clamps that you see. It'll just float in the back.
Yep.
The roof panels will all come out. It'll look like a canvas top, but they'll all be removable.
Mm. That's awesome, yeah, and quite different as we've been talking there. You built so many different cars to like sort of the norm. Yeah, another thing that's quite different. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of fun to do something different.
It is. It's a new challenge, isn't it? I can tell you guys love the challenge as well. So like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. This is a '69 fastback that we're doing for a customer. It'll be a pretty cool car when it's done. I've got renderings, but I am not going to show them to you.
Okay.
But we've got a lot of really cool ideas for this.
Mm.
This one will have an illuminator engine. Which is a Ford Racing illuminator.
Yeah. You've obviously got good contacts for all your mechanical stuff to get, like you say, the Hemi.
Do.
Yeah, the Hemi engines,
really
the Ford engines. Yeah, great.
This is a Camaro '69 that we're going to build something similar to that carbon car out of.
Okay.
That one that was at SEMA this year. So we have to do another one of them.
Yep.
There's Jason. Get a picture of him.
There's Jason. He's never swept the floor in his life. Jason's
just when he gets on TV. I'm the only one that sweeps around
here. Yeah. So this is Jason's project. This is all his fabrication here.
Fantastic.
What's that? Today. Are you back?
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah.
Okay. This is a little BMW 2002 that Mike's building for his daughter.
Yeah, fantastic.
1972, 2002.
TII.
fuel injected car.
Yeah.
So she did the welding and helping on it. Jim's actually been putting some interior parts. I bought the car in boxes, and what I realized when you buy them in boxes is that you don't get all the parts.
Ain't that the truth? Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been a few years of just tinkering. So
this car here just showed up last week. It's a professional basketball player, Mason Plumley. He called us and said, "Come and get it," because I'm sick of pushing it. So we're gonna go through this car for him. This is the splitter car. This was the car that was also in that same container that went to overseas, and you can see the damage on this car is pretty severe.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a mess.
Yeah.
Both quarters. I mean, the front of the car.
we call it Splinter now instead of Splitter.
Splitter. Yeah, wow. Crazy.
Yeah, so it got damaged pretty severe.
Yeah.
This was another K5 Blazer that we did for the guy we were doing that other one for. He put it on a website called Bring a Trailer, and the thing brought $305,000.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Really, I couldn't believe it either.
Wow.
This is a little Cougar we did, and 1968 Cougar. We're just trying to finish it up. This is for a local guy. Pretty well stock. Besides the engine, we'll put a drivetrain. It's got a 10-speed automatic with a new Coyote in it. So it'll be a fun driver for him.
Yeah.
This is Greg Murphy's motor right here.
Aha.
This is the Hellcat. We did a bunch of modifications on the top portion up. Hold on here. So we built a lot of this front part of the blower for it to get it centered down the hood, but that's really all I'm going to tell you about that.
Yeah.
But it'll be cool.
Those you have any trouble getting those Hellcat engines? I mean, I believe you can't even buy the cars there.
Hellcats are no problem. The Elephant is a problem.
Okay. Yeah.
The Hellcats are like 750 horse. The Elephant is 1,000 horse.
Yeah, they're 707, I think. So yeah, they're a little smaller cubic inch. So this is actually the Hemi that was.
This is the Hemi that was in that Charger out front, that green one that we pulled out. That we're waiting for that Elephant.
Yeah. So are you guys are you Ford guys or Chrysler guys, or you just like a bit of everything?
Just car guys.
Yeah.
We don't have a preference.
So this is some of our equipment that we machine all of our parts with in here.
Okay.
Everybody's went home now, so it's kind of late, but just pieces and parts and.
It's really nice you take the time to.
Yeah, we appreciate this. Doing this with us, and.
It's really good.
It's been good.
And I said you've got a lot of friends and a lot of followers down here in Australia, so we'll put this together, and I'll let you know what we're going to do with it. All right?
We'd love to see it.
Sounds good. Thanks for everything, and we look forward to seeing you down there.
Yeah.
Or SEMA.
Yeah.
Or SEMA, but I can tell you one thing: if I come down there and nobody takes me fishing, I'm going to be pissed.
Yeah. It'll happen. It'll happen.
All
right.
All right.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate your time.